Nathan. Well, you're the man that gets to have a play. Oh, just tell us, what is it you do, Nathan?
So I run a timber harvesting and marketing company. So we basically go to woodland owners or management companies and basically go and look at the timber they've got, find out the needs that they want for the woodland, and then we'll come up with a strategy for either thinning or clear fell, and then make an offer for the timber standing. We then go in with the machines, the harvester we're driving now and the forwarder which we have behind us. We will harvest it to the thinning regime that's required, extract the timber to roadside. We'll then arrange for the timber to be collected with the company that we use for haulage, take it to the mills, it gets weighed, and then on return of the weight tickets we then know what's gone out from the forest, and we can pay the owner the timber that we've taken away from there. So they get paid for each tonne that goes over the weighbridge.
So what is the purpose of thinning woodland then?
So
what's the reason?
Basically, when you plant your trees to start the forest, you plant them nice and tight so that you've got good competition, so they grow up against each other. When they get to about year 20, especially with conifers, they're basically fighting too much for competition, for food and for water. So you need to take about 30% out so that you can give them room to grow on. First thinnings, you're just taking a lot of the rubbish trees out, and then residual thinnings after that, usually which is done every 5 years, will bring an income into the estate or for the landowner, and then clear fell, depending on the size of the timber, usually takes place at sort of between 50 and 70 years for conifers. Right. If you're talking about oak trees, you could be sort of 300 to 400 years for a clear fell.
And you like the EcoLog machines?
I do like the EcoLog machines. I like them because they're very strong, probably the strongest on the market, and have been for a long time. So 32 tonne per metre crane lift. It means you get out of trouble. You can go and take a big tree on and you're not stuck there with the crane not being able to do it. You can just force it where you need to if you have to. We've also got the pendulum arms on this machine, which allows you to go across side slopes and go into areas that with typically most other machines you can't do because they've got fixed axles. Some of the machines that we've had in the past use a lot of diesel. You've got horsepower and you expect that, but with the new Volvo Penta engines, you're using hardly anything. And I never thought that for the amount of work that we do, that fuel would be a big issue. But then with it jumping from sort of 50p a litre to £1.50 a litre last year, it was so noticeable with these how much work we're getting done for not a lot of fuel.
So what is your average day, Nathan? What hours would you do?
Well, we usually sort of start about 7 in the morning and I can go on till 10 or 11 o'clock at night.
And that's every day?
Most days, yeah. Sort of 6 days a week. Don't try to do too much on a Sunday if you can help it.
So what distance are you covering with these machines then?
So we're very fortunate that we've got enough work within a sort of 15 to 20 mile radius for the way that I operate, to be able to just stay close to home, which is helpful because we sell forest machines as well. And so you don't need to be able to get spare parts out to folks.
So the woods that you're thinning out today, Nathan, does that all go for the same purpose then, or how does it work?
So in this woodland at the moment, we are cutting quite a lot of biomass, which will be going to the estate. They've got 4 boilers, so that's what we class as chip quality. And then from there, we've got saw log quality, and off the top of that, we've then got some oversize for the larger timber.
So it all depends on the quality of the wood?
All depends on the quality of the wood. So if it's nice and straight and it's of a good diameter, then it can be sawmilled and produce 4x2s and 6x1s and stuff that people can make things out of. If it's poor quality, then it goes through a big chipper and heats up the haul on the estate.
So that is the forwarder driver's job to...
That's the forwarder driver's job to check that what I've cut is the right length.
Right.
And also to put it in the right piles. If we send the wrong timber to the wrong people, they will get very upset and not want any more of it.
So you've got to have a good man on the...
You've got to have a good man on the forwarder.
You've got to have a good man on the forwarder.
So yeah, Hugh's in charge of that, and we're constantly checking Hugh's doing a good job. Yeah, you only when you're looking at the trees like this, when they're going through the head, you only tend to see them in one plane.
Yes.
So you look at it and you don't know if it's leaning back towards you half the time or whether it's straight. You can see it straight this way, but it could actually be bent the other way.
Yeah, I suppose that's right. Actually,
So when the forwarder driver picks it up, he'll spin it round to make sure there's nothing that's either too short or too long.
Right.
Because he'll be able to pick that up because he's got some reference logs in the grab at the same time.
Right. Okay,
And then also, if he thinks that there's something that's a bit bent and I've sent it through and it shouldn't have, he'll discard that and that'll go into the chip pile. So he's sort of quality control. The forwarder driver is quality control, really.
So it is teamwork.
It is teamwork, yeah.
How long have you been doing this then?
So I've been doing mechanical. I started my company in '97 after I left forestry college, and I got into mechanical harvesting sort of about 15 years ago.
And the dealership that you've set up, what is it you mainly focus on that side of the business?
So we sell Rover forestry equipment, which is a lot of peelers and pointers, cranes and trailers. We sell farmer cranes and trailers from Estonia. We're main agents or sole agents for Old Store, which produce mini forwarders made in Sweden. And we sell little harvester heads from a company called Tastic in Finland. We've designed our own site-safe workbox. It's a bunded box that you can store all your equipment in when you're working on site. At the same time, there's a bench that folds out, so it allows you to make hoses, make chains.
Looked a handy bit of kit, to be fair.
Really handy bit of kit. There was a gap in the market because we couldn't find one, so we designed it.
So you made one?
We made one.
And you sell those now?
And we sell them as well, yeah. They're really handy.
So Nathan, if someone, say, had some woodland on their land, is that something you could look into? I mean, does it work for anyone?
Yeah, I mean, there's always different sizes of woodland, and some are more viable than others. Some will make a good return for owners. Some may have a cost. Some work will be amenity work, and some will be, purely commercial. But if anyone wants to get in touch with us, they're more than welcome. We've got a website, and it's
you go by the name of Home Forestry.
Home Forestry.
Yourselves, yeah.
That's it. Yeah. So it's homeforestry.co.uk. And we're always happy to try and help folks, whether it's buying machines or thinning their woodlands for them.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for having us out the last couple of days anyway, Nathan. It's certainly been interesting.
Thank you very much for coming.
And we'll hopefully see you again at some point.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.
So the two machines we're looking at today are EcoLog harvesters and forwarders. The one on my right hand side here is the EcoLog harvester, the 590. It's a timber harvester. It enters the forest, grabs the tree, cuts it down, cross cuts it into lengths, stripping all the branches as it goes, and what that produces is timber for the sawmills and the chip markets. Over my left shoulder is the EcoLog 574 forwarder. That machine's purpose is to enter the forest, lift these logs that have been processed by the harvester and take them to the roadside for road transport. So the harvester we're looking at is the EcoLog 590. It's the biggest harvester in the range from EcoLog. It's powered by a Volvo Penta 7.7 litre engine, 320 horsepower. Has 4 hydraulic pumps driving it, so there's 2 hydraulic pumps, one for the front axle, one for the rear axle. Has a separate pump for the crane and also a separate pump for the head. The transmission is fully hydrostatic. It has motors driving the wheels, and what this allows is the pendulum arms to move up and down. So these pendulum arms are pretty special in comparison to any other harvester on the market. What these pendulum arms do is they're controlled fully by the operator, and it allows the machine to absorb all the contours of the land basically. Take on side slopes, take on any kind of slope, and the machine will remain level. The key purpose of it is to keep the centre of gravity down the middle. So the harvesting head that's on the EcoLog is a Logmax 6000 twin. It's predominantly a 60-65 centimetre head. Its sole purpose, that's the business end of the harvester. What it does is it grabs the tree, it cuts the tree, so it fells it, and the feed rollers that you see will turn and it will pull the tree through, stripping the branches with the knives that's on it. And there's measuring equipment on there for diameter and length. So the operator pre-programs the lengths and diameters into the computer before the job starts, and when he starts harvesting the trees, it automatically calculates the best possible outcome from that tree. You're looking for the highest yield out of the tree basically, and that way it maximises the profit back to the owners. This job's usually done on a price per tonne rate in the UK, so for every tonne of timber that lands on the ground, picked up, put to the roadside, that's paid as one price to the contractor. So the EcoLog harvester, the 590, it has one of the most powerful cranes on the market. It's a 31 ton metre lift. It's 10 metre reach. It can come as an option with an 11 metre reach with just a standard 6,000 head. So the forward that we have on show today is the EcoLog 574D, powered by a Mercedes-Benz engine. It's 8-wheel drive. It's a solid transmission. It has a fully hydrostatic transmission. It has a pump driving the motor, which drives through the gearbox, through to the axles, through to the bogies. So the purpose of the forwarder is obviously to load the logs. What the operator does is he enters the forest and he identifies the specified logs or chip, whatever they may be uplifting. So predominantly he'll come in first and he'll start lifting all the logs of the same length. He'll load them up. He'll transport them to the side of the road. The crane that's operating here is a Cranab FC12, so it's a 12 ton metre lift crane. It's 10 metre with a double extension on the dipper, and it has a gripping 35 grapple.
So Scott, if someone was interested in having one of these machines in the UK, who do they contact? Who are you boys? You are the dealer, I believe?
Yeah, so we're the EcoLog dealership for the UK, SB Forestry. We also do Gremel forest machines, and we do Nisula forestry products as well, so predominantly harvesting heads, biomass energy heads.
Well, thank you very much for having us here today, Scott. Anyway, cheers for shining a bit of light down onto those machines. It's certainly interesting to see working, and we'll hopefully come out and see you again at some point.
Thanks very much, look forward to it.
Cheers, thank you.